I remember one time when you really impressed me is when you had that presentation to do for your electrical engineering. You were doing your degree in UE. It's amazing. I was amazed that you stood in front of the crowd. I was like about 4 rows back. I had a
There were
panel.
so many people? Or there were 3 empty rows?
Yeah. Yes. It's not that it had 4 rows of people. It was like an empty classroom. You were presenting to, and you invited me to come along. And it was a pleasure to. I think that day I learned a lot about you.
I have to flip the switch when I do presentations because I'm naturally a shy person. And when you're doing presentations, you can't afford to be shy because you have to be confident. Yes, you could have a confidence and still be shy, but in order to make them think that you know more than you know, you have to be a little more confident and a little less shy.
Yeah, because I always kind of peg you for I mean, not introvert, but kind of like quiet. And I think you could sometimes mistake somebody who being quiet that they
introverted.
Yeah, they can't handle themselves.
You know those
and that's how I used to look at you like, you just can't handle yourself.
No, you're mistaking me with you. You can't handle me.
That is true. That is true. In more ways than one. I have been Googling how to handle
my wife.
No, but you were really
results.
good, and you presented yourself, and you know I think you make them believe a lot more than you actually knew. you did well around that line.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I got.
But I was gonna say all of those tests that I did, you know, those extroverts and introverts tests. I always got borderline. Like I was always an introvert with extrovert qualities, because.
What's extrovert qualities?
If you're in a group, it's not your first choice to present, but if you're in a group and you have to do a presentation, I am good at presentations. That's what I will say. I don't like to do them, but if I get I used to get volunteered to do them. And I did
this
them.
Was based on your looks, or?
Probably based on the fact that nobody else wanted to do it, usually. I used to say, okay, well, I'll do it. Because you also don't want to feel that you're not pulling your weight as well. So if somebody volunteers you to do something, unless you have serious reservations against it, I would always accept.
So you'll describe yourself as what? A borderline introvert or a borderline extrovert?
I think I'm a quiet person, which I guess is leaning towards introvert. But if you know me and you catch me in a mood, I can be the most excited and outward person. But I could also appreciate other people's alphaness and let them also be extroverts. So I think I have an understanding for people who need to be extroverts around me. So I would subdue my extroversion and be an introvert, something like that. I think I try to read people and read the room.
Right.
And if the room is quiet, I would pick up a conversation. If the room is loud, I will listen. So I try to, what's the word? I'm a chameleon.
Yeah. I wonder if I kind of do the same thing too.
You do.
What am I, an introvert or extrovert?
I think you are the same, which is why we probably deal so well with each other. Because sometimes you could talk and never stop. And then I find myself, I haven't said anything for the past 10 minutes and you're still talking.
Hey, well, listen, I felt, I think it was like about 2 weeks after the fact. Like, I felt like I didn't stop talking at all. Like I don't remember when it was, but I realized talking to you that Kimberly hasn't spoken for 14 days. And it was the craziest thing. I was like, wait, I just talk too much, especially if I'm into, a passionate about something. Like, for instance, I remember when I was writing my books, 90 Days of Violence, and every conversation, and there's a certain part of me that feel like guilty, like you just going to your wife over and over and like,
that's
baby,
what we're there
for.
That's what you're there for. If you don't have somebody you could go to, then what's the point? That's your support system and you should be able to go to them regardless. So I would usually come to you with different concerns I have, and usually you have no input, but you will pretend to listen, and it's it's something that I will appreciate. Because even
Sorry,
if
you were saying something?
Exactly. So sometimes you just need a sounding board. Even if it's just somebody to kind of nod and say, that kind of, yeah, boy. And so you never really give an answer. So it's a good way to pretend that you're listening. But it's just good to have somebody to talk to. But I try to, if somebody's telling me something, I try to invest myself in what they're saying. So I try to listen.
I'm looking at my poor dad walking with 4 plates of food. Well, empty plates. We just had dal and rice. Kimberly eating dal and rice right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's Anna eat well? So today is the 28th of March. Tomorrow is SEA.
Ooh, fun times.
Wow, you remember when you do SEA?
No, I did common entrance.
You remember when you get... Oh, you're right. Yeah. She's too young for you, bro. When
she's too old for you, bro.
She's too old for you.
No, I was the last group to write common entrance.
The last group. What year that was?
1999.
1999.
Yeah. Or was it 2000? I can't remember. No, I started Form 1 in 2000. Yeah, so it was 2000. And I started Form 1 in 2001.
Do you remember the day you get results?
I remember they wrote it on the board, the blackboard. Well, they told us before 3 students passed for naps. And I said, oh, okay.
3 students in your school passed for Naprima College.
Naprima Girls.
Naprima Girls College.
Yeah, high school.
And you were one of them.
2 different schools.
2 different schools. Yeah. Like, that's like called stush.
We're not a college, we're a high school. Naprima College is a different school.
You were one of those 3 girls.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, we used to come first, second, and third
you
in
see,
class.
Again, you surprise me. It's like how you pulled off.
I was very smart.
Yeah.
I will say was because I was extremely smart. No, I think girls peak at a certain age. I got married. That was the first bad decision I made.
Yeah, they start making some dumb decisions around that point. But
No. I would say primary school was maybe majorly thanks to Miss Katie. Primary school was like a breeze for me. And I'm not showing off or being hoity-toity or anything there.
No, that's absolutely fine. You could speak with confidence. It was
primary school was easy for me. High school was a lot harder and a lot more work. But I think it's because primary school, I don't feel like I ever, some people, how we sit with Haley and we try to study with her. I never did that. My mother never really, all she would do is, you do homework? Yeah, sometimes she don't even know. She's like, what are you doing? Homework. Okay. She was never on my back. Daddy used to help us with like social studies and things like that. If I had homework and I needed help. But maths, never study. Grammar, it was just like inherent. It was built into me. I could read something and know if it makes sense. And then, Miss Katie was drilling these things into your head since standard 4. And she just make us do so many past papers that I couldn't afford to do anything else. Like, I couldn't afford to do anything other than good with Miss Katie. Primary school was just real easy, thankfully. Thank God. It was very, very comfortable for me. Then you get into high school and you realize, wow, I have to do a lot more work than primary school. But
so
yeah.
you think you got into high school based on your merit, or I mean, like you had anything like paying to get into schools back then?
Please, we couldn't afford to do that. If I had to pay to get into school, I would have been homeschooled. No. We used to do real good in Miss Katie. Miss Katie is an excellent teacher, as I said, and I will continue saying forever and ever. She could make any student reach their potential, and she did an excellent job with all of her classes. And the 3 of us who ended up in NAPS and the others who chose to go to different schools and probably had the same aptitude to get into NAPS, they all benefited from Miss Katie. So we all got in on our merit. So all 3 of you all
went to Miss Katie's class?
We were in the same class.
Wow.
All of us went to lessons. We'd studied together in school. So, when I say study, I mean we did past papers. That was our version of studying.
I have no memory of
past papers.
Doing past papers or writing the SCA exam. All I could remember is like 2 sharp pencils and a ruler in my hand for the SCA exam.
I'm trying to remember. All I remember was like all the classes were open up and you had this big long hall of children doing tests. But I love tests. I like to do the maths, and at the end of it where you're going and you're comparing what you get with your friends to see how much you could count and if you could guess the right amount you get in your test. I think after this, I just left and I went with mommy because she promised me KFC. So I didn't even talk to anybody. I just finished the exam, walk out, and went to find mommy, and we went for KFC.
She buy the KFC for you?
Yeah.
And you remember the day you get, apart from the results you're talking about, hearing 3 of you all.
I was just real excited to go home and tell mommy and daddy and everybody. and rub it in her sister's face. Although,
Or did
because she went convent.
she wanted to go?
No. Nobody ever. Naps was out. I didn't even know Naps was a school until Miss Katie suggested it.
So you remember what your choices were?
Napri McGill's. Okay. So it was Napri McGill's High School on the advice of Miss Katie because we had never heard about Napri McGill's before. We came from Cuba. The only schools we know is Pres, Convent, Junior Sec, and Mod Sec. Those were the only schools we knew. So it was Naps, Convent, Mod Sec, and Junior Sec. Those are like standard. Did you want to go to Hillview?
Wait. Where Mod Sec is?
Mod Sec is right behind Junior Sec.
That's a good school?
It's an excellent school. Andrew went to there. He chose to go to there because he didn't want to go to an all-boys school. He didn't want to go to Pres. He was just as bright as the other two who went to Pres. But
you wanted to go to all-girls school?
I wanted to go to a good school. I wanted to go to Convent because I used to go to Becky's sports days and I love the sports and the compound, the school itself. And it was a good school because people used to go and they do well. They get scholarships and stuff.
What was your thoughts on like the quality of schools in terms of like co-ed versus all boys or all girls? But isn't it interesting that the all girls or all boys tend to perform consistently good?
Yes, I think it's a matter of distraction. Yes, not everybody is distracted by it, which is why you'll still have some successes and people dedicated to what they're doing. But of course, if you're seeing 10 girls passing by and a teacher is going over coordinate geometry, you're not going to understand. You're not going to see what that teacher teaching. You're going to be looking out the door at the 3 girls going to class.
Yeah, I had a little problem with with watching girls and thinking about it. I had a problem watching girls in secondary school.
You really had to have like an extra drive and extra motivation to go to a co-ed school and still do really good. I think because you're in an all-girls school or in an all-boys school, that element of keeping yourself looking good, waiting for a suitor, it never really came up unless you're attracted to the same sex. Then that was hardly the case in our day, I guess.
Yeah. So you're just waiting till like after school to probably glimpse a naps boy or something.
That was the thing when people had lessons. I don't think I didn't have any lessons until like
so lessons
6.
was the place to go and scout.
Lessons was your mating ritual, mating hole. That's where most people found their significant others from. Which is probably why I never had any because I didn't go to lessons.
So fortunately for me, Kimberly didn't go to lessons and we ended up hooking up.
Yeah, so like at the last period of the day, or maybe second to last, you'll find the girls excusing themselves from class to go to the washroom and they'll spend like 10 minutes and they'll come back with face all washed, hair all combed and, the uniform, the socks rolled down and you're ready to go to lessons. So that's where they would shine, I guess. Right. So we didn't have all day to be distracted by boys. So always be suspicious
of your son and daughter when they come and show a lot of enthusiasm to go to lessons.
Yeah. I don't be, well... If you're doing your work,
because it's a place to kind of, I guess, you come out of uniform and socialize a little bit.
You get to meet people, especially if you go to a same-sex school.
Imagine if a lesson teacher just end up like a kind of glorified chaperone.
Which they probably...
My first choices were, I didn't want to go to Hillview. I didn't want to go to a boys' school. I certainly didn't want to go to Hillview.
So you put George's, right?
I put St. George's. Mm-hmm.
And George's is co-ed.
Yeah, George's is co-ed. And only put not because I was like knew anything significant about George's except that
your
all my
sister and your brother
went there. So it'd be like you had to follow. But I remember George's. I do even think Hillview make it to the list. If Hillview, I was probably like the first person that put Hillview as our last choice.
Did you?
I suspect I did.
That's probably what screwed up your curve. If that's quote unquote screwed up. If you don't put your right schools first, you could get snubbed from it. Remember, the school has
they have 30%. Access to seeing
they have 30%
right,
say
so they
over
would know
who
you put them as last choice.
So if you they wouldn't even look at you if you put them as last choice.
Right.
They will be considering the first choice, second choice, and some people don't even consider second choice when they're that. Yeah,
wow.
Like if you put so I got this from a teacher in convent, I wouldn't say who. She advised my mother, because remember my sister was going there. She said, if you don't put convent as first choice, we may not be able to help her get in. So mommy said, what do you mean help her? She said, well, the school has some say over who they accept. And if you put convent as second choice and she doesn't make the criteria to get to NAPS, we may not be able to accept her because she put us as second choice. And my mother responded, she's like, don't worry, she wouldn't need any help. She's like, she'll get into NAPS. So my mother was confident for all of us.
Your mother knows that shot a long time. Yeah, well, congratulations. Anyway, when I went to the list, the day of the SC welcome and entrance results, I was successful in passing for my last choice, which was El Dorado.
I thought you said your last choice was Hillview.
No. I remember my last choice was the school I passed for. So the last.
And look at you now.
Yeah, and by this, like sometimes I know this going sound real dumb, but sometimes I just wonder if like secondary school even makes sense. I feel like primary school makes so much more sense than secondary school. Like in terms of getting a foundation and...
I think it depends on what your goals are and where you peak. Girls tend to peak at a younger age than boys, which is why I don't know if it's still the same, but back in the day, you used to have girls doing very well in common entrance, very well at CXC. And then for some reason, all the scholarship winners and all the A-level high scorers, president medalists, used to be boys. Because boys peak at a different age. They peak a little later than girls.
So how old do you think I'll be when I peak?
I think you peak a long time ago. You're on the decline now.
Well, on that positive note, we will end this episode. And
yes, because I have to go back to it.
I just enjoy the random conversation with you. It didn't feel so random, but hats off in terms of being someone
lunchtime
who I
laughs
regard as being, highly successful and could just kind of come out of a introverted shell that you just see and present well. And I have seen you in different online meetings as well, and you're presenting well. I was like, that is my wife, boy. Like, why she can't be like that all the time?
You don't want me like that all the time because then you wouldn't have a chance to talk.
I wouldn't get a chance to talk. I would look for some new friends. Anyway, folks, see you all in the next episode.
Bye.